Hi, I'm Tracy Soltis, your leading health and nutrition coach and molecular biologist. I've consulted with hundreds of people around the world on their human journey. So if you're a seeker looking for answers, information and knowledge, you'll find it here. Come on a journey with me as I explore the science, the physical body, and the cognitive and energetic space of what it really means to be human. Welcome back, everybody, and I've got an amazing and very special guest joining me today, Lauren Rogers. Hi.
Hi, thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Lauren is joining us from the Mind Body Lounge on the Mind Body Studio podcast. How cool is that?
Very good. I love the synchronicity
I
there.
love that as well. Lauren is a skilled and dedicated professional with a passion for promoting wellness and helping others improve their overall health and well-being. She obtained a degree in psychology and spent her early years of her career working in corporate environment, gaining valuable experience in areas such as organizational behavior, team dynamics, and stress management. However, after the birth of her first child and facing her own health challenges, Lauren underwent a profound transformation. She began to explore holistic health practices and alternative therapies, which helped her regain her vitality and sense of balance. Inspired by her own journey, Lauren decided to dedicate her career to helping others discover the benefits of holistic health. Today, Lauren manages the Mind Body Lounge, Perth's premier and most advanced wellness centre. Drawing on her experience and expertise in psychology and holistic health, she works with her clients to create a customised wellness plan that addresses their unique needs and goals. She is passionate about staying up to date with the latest health technologies and techniques from around the world and is committed to helping her clients achieve their best health and well-being. So today I'm going to be chatting with Lauren about her journey, some of the amazing apparatuses available at the Mind Body Lounge. Plus, we're actually going to dig into a little experiment that we did on me and go through some of those results. So welcome again. How you doing? Thanks for joining me. This has been a little bit of a work in progress because we were going to do this last year, but now we're here.
Yes.
And so let's just get straight into it. Tell me about you. Tell me about your journey so far.
So my first child was a little bit of a surprise, not something that I was planning. But he was my first introduction to holistic and alternative health.
Yeah.
He had his own struggles as a baby. But not long after that, I myself became quite ill. So I was rapidly losing weight. I developed insomnia. My energy was terrible. Had joint pain, just generally not good, very difficult to get through the days. So as you do.
Which makes it hard when you've got a little one, right?
Exactly.
Gosh, yeah.
It was, puts a lot of stress on all aspects of your life, of your relationships, felt exceptionally guilty for not being able to be the mum that I wanted to be.
Yeah.
Socially with your friends puts a lot of stress there because you just don't have the energy to get out. Yeah. And when you do, you kind of don't want to be there. You're in pain, you're tired.
Yeah, or when you have that downtime, you actually kind of want it for yourself, right?
Exactly.
Like, I just want to take a nap.
I just want to crawl up in the corner and go to sleep. So naturally, I just did what most people do. You go to your GP. I'm not feeling well. This is what's happening. We ran blood tests. Everything came back fine.
Yeah.
Saw another GP. Still getting worse, still getting sick, blood tests, everything's fine.
Wow, yeah.
I think I saw about 4 or 5 GPs who told me everything was fine.
Yeah. And you knew your intuition is like, you knew something was not fine because you're waking up tired, you've got fatigue, you're in pain, things aren't fine.
Exactly. I have, I'm 5'9" and I weighed 42 kilos. Like that's not healthy. Mm-hmm. I had started developing growths that I had to have cut out. Again, they weren't cancerous, they weren't tumours, but no one could tell me what was happening.
How old were you when this started happening?
I was 31.
Yeah, so young.
Yeah.
So young to be feeling like living this life in this amount of discomfort at such an early point with a young child.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then for people to say, everything's fine. Like, just go about it. It's like, how is this? That's not the answer.
Exactly.
Got to find the answer.
They
to
were
this.
saying, you're stressed, you're a new mum, there's, is there something, mentally is something not right, or a lot of theories were handed out.
Yeah.
But ultimately nothing that could explain that my body was basically just shutting down. Everything was just shutting down. But what I had learnt from my past experience with my son's health struggles was that you do really need to be your own advocate. And that's sometimes very difficult when you're sitting in the room with an expert and they're saying, no, nothing's wrong, or they're giving you their reasoning as to what they think is going on, and deep down in your gut that's not what's happening, that's not correct. It can be a little bit intimidating to say, no, you're wrong, and keep pushing for something. But ultimately, through the experience with my son, and what became very clear with his health journey, was the body is always looking to heal. The body wants to heal. If it's struggling to do that, you're just not giving it the right environment to heal and to flourish and to thrive. And ultimately, that's what I wanted. I wouldn't accept this as this is my norm. I'm not going to make my normal where I'm tired, in pain, and not living the life that I want to live. I want to thrive and I want to do all the things, and that should be my normal, certainly not accepting this as a level of normal, which I think really sadly a lot of people do.
Definitely, because and there's lots of different reasons for that, but predominantly I guess people are so busy doing so many other things that they prioritise their health on the lowest on part of the scale rather than the top part of the scale. And we know from our experience in this sort of industry is that when we prioritise our health, everything else falls into line. But we actually have to dedicate and commit the time to put that time aside to investigate, and what works for us doesn't necessarily work for other people, to get our bodies healthy and where they need to be so that we can live our best life, and then all the other stuff actually falls into place.
It's so much easier. And I mean, I'll be the first person to say that I think if I had become ill before my son, I don't know if I would have pushed as hard for myself as I would for him. What I learnt pushing for him and for his health then obviously shaped my health journey. But I think if it was just me, I would have been like everyone else, and I may have just pushed things to the side. But obviously, when it comes to your kids,
I know, you do anything for them,
Exactly.
right? It's just like lioness.
Exactly. So very grateful to him and the universe and everything, because he was just a massive shift in my entire life, and how I love myself and what I do for myself ultimately shifted because of what I did for him. So
let's talk about that. Where did you start? Because that's the thing. Like, there must have been I like to say, the switch that got flicked. And you went, that's it, no more, not doing this anymore. So what did that look like?
So thankfully, kept talking to people, kept pushing, kept researching, and was finally connected with a GP who was incredibly holistic. Went and saw him, and he showed me my blood work and basically explained that the mainstream Western medicine has a scale, and there's a healthy side and a not healthy side. But what we would consider healthy is not really the same definition. So my adrenals were actually failing, and I was suffering from adrenal fatigue, and I was sitting right on the borderline of their healthy range and not healthy range. If I had continued to get worse and crossed over to that non-healthy range, my adrenals would have failed. I would have been on steroids for the rest of my life. That's that area, that sick area that Western medicine can deal with.
Yeah.
That they had a pill for.
Yes.
Up until that point, they had nothing to give me.
It's the prevention. There was nothing in prevention. It's just like, okay, this has now happened. Now we can put a Band-Aid on that. Off you go kind of thing. But where is the treatment before you get to that? That's the thing that's missing, right?
Yeah.
And for people who don't know what adrenals are the little glands that sit on top of your kidneys, and they fire out cortisol, which is your go response, like your adrenaline, your go, go, go. If you want to get up in the morning, well, you know, your cortisol's firing. The problem is that when you go into adrenal fatigue, you have so much cortisol actually going around in the bloodstream that the body doesn't actually know when to stop. And so you kind of get overloaded with all the cortisol constantly, and the melatonin, which is supposed to actually be kicked in at night to get you to sleep, can't kick in because you've got this feedback loop of cortisol that's just constantly firing out. Yep. And the reason it fires out so much is that, you know, if we went back, say, 10,000 years in our evolution, we might be running from a lion. So you expect cortisol to go, hey, we got to run now because the lion chasing us, right?
Let's go.
But now we get a text message from, you know, which might really get us down. And we go, oh my gosh, I'm going into fight or flight response, and the cortisol is released over a text message. And now it's billions of those things every single day rather than just one-off things, which is what it's supposed to be there for. Yep. So if you're feeling that way, maybe that's something you need to look into, because you wake up tired because your body just doesn't have any cortisol left to actually fire out. It's got nothing going on in there. So it's like, oh, of course I'm tired in the morning because I've got nothing left. It's only a teeny tiny little gland. So anyway, keep going.
So this doctor was fantastic. He said, look, you know, when I think of health, I'm putting you in that top 50 percentile. That's what I want to see. That's where I want to get you to. So we did a lot in terms of IVs and different supplements. And
can I ask what sort of like supplements they did, if you don't mind sharing?
No, that's so there's different protocols that you can get for adrenals.
Yeah.
Different tinctures and things like that. Yeah. So there was a lot of herbal things to help. There was also a lot of discussions around my diet and different supplements for and all natural supplements. Yeah. So they were all coming from organic natural sources. You know, we had to look at my omegas, and I was taking liver supplements and
adapting. The poor liver. Yeah. Oh gosh, the poor liver. But anyway, keep going.
And we also had a lot of discussions around my diet, and really threw myself into that. It was funny what I actually found and took to my nana when she was alive at the time, and showed her this book of, look at all these recipes and it's so healthy, and she just looked at me and went, that's normal.
I know.
That's how, that's what you do. That's how you cook. That's how you eat. That's, you know,
I know. It's
that's
like
just normal.
2 generations and we've lost it.
Exactly.
Like we look at our grandparents, what they used to eat. My nan used to eat like lamb's fry and bacon and liver this, and like it was always nutrient dense food.
Absolutely.
Like it really wasn't, and there wasn't any processed stuff. She might make a jelly every now and then, right? But everything else was cooked. It was soups, broths, like constant broth. She was always making chicken broth.
Yep. And so a lot of bone broths. Yeah. Even the desserts that I was having, it was custards with egg yolks and all these really nutrient dense foods. So that really made an impact on me. Just the simplicity of it. Yeah. That it's not as complicated as we make it out to be. There's a real simplicity to it. And then on the flip side of that, we have amazing supplements of these just amazing highest quality supplements that you can get delivered from all around the world to your doorstep. These technologies and supplements that are available to us that can really, really help you in your health journey. Yeah. So that was a big component. But so after a few months, I went back and had a checkup with him, and he said, "Look, you're getting better, but you're still not where I'd like to see you. Yeah. You need to address emotional issues in your life." Yeah. And I went, oh, I don't have any emotional issues in my life, you know, I'm fine. So I knew I had them.
Yeah.
My body was telling me that I had them.
Yeah.
So if it's not consciously available to you, but your body is constantly showing a sickness or an illness, it's trying to give you a message.
Yes.
So fell back on the psychology degree and started looking through there and really got into psychoneuroimmunology, which is how subconscious thought patterns and emotions manifest into physical illness in the body.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, you know what? If I can't consciously know what my issues are, there are ways out there that my body can just tell me.
Yeah.
So that was a really fascinating process as well, to go through that, and issues that I didn't necessarily connect with straight away, but I accepted that my body was giving me that message and I needed to let my body lead me through.
Yeah.
And in the end, it was completely right.
Yeah.
And
the body's telling you, right? Exactly what it needs and what it wants and what's going on. It's just we overthink it and go, oh no, I'm going to analyze you.
Yeah.
I'm going to analyze you. You're not going to analyze me. Yeah. You know? And then when we finally surrender to it, it's like, okay, maybe I should listen to my body.
Exactly.
It's like, okay, that's what's going on and this is what I need to do and this is what I need to change. But it isn't a common practice. I mean, we're in an industry where we do see more and more people doing it because they're coming to us because they've reached a point where they haven't received intervention or help or preventative type measures. And so they end up with us and then they see, there are other options and there are things that we can put in place to prevent disease. But it takes time to get to that point before someone actually listens to their body, right?
Yes. Yeah. And then it's a long journey after that.
Yeah.
You know, it's 10 years on from when all this happened. And I'm very good at managing things because there was enough damage done during that time that, you know, this will be an ongoing thing. But it did take a very long time. You know, it took me 30-something years to get into that predicament.
Yeah.
And it's going to take, you know, many years to get out of that as well.
But the body heals fast when we give it that opportunity and we start doing all the right things. I noticed that myself because my journey is different to yours. It's different to everybody's. Everyone's is different. But I also got to that point, which is why I'm in this space now, is because I knew that I wasn't living my best life at all because I was also tired and burnt out and running through states of fatigue and just that exhaustion all of the time. And when I would get sick, I'd be down for a long time or I wouldn't heal properly. And it's that going, this can't be how life is supposed to be.
No,
like this
can't be life.
This is not
what we're
this is not what
do.
It's supposed to be, right? So it's about taking a step back and going, what are all of the things surrounding my life? Are they actually making me healthy and happy, or are they actually making things worse? And it's not. That's a process, like you said. It is a process, and because it's not just about the physical body, it's about who you're surrounding yourself around and what you're involving yourself in, and are you doing a job that you love, and are you living your purpose? And there's so many elements that are so important to consider, right? When you're working through this, and you're right, it's not, you can't, I think the mentality today is quick fix. Everyone wants a quick fix. It's like, okay, I'm tired, so what do I want to take? We'll take vitamin, like just take some B12. You'll be fine. Take some Barocca. It's like, that doesn't,
No.
that's not going to work. That's not going to work. Sorry. It's like a quick fix.
You're a complex being.
Yeah.
And this is, you know, a very complex life that we lead, and things will take time, and there's going to be periods where you improve. There'll be periods where it drops off again.
Yeah.
There'll be, you know, and I guess in my emotional and spiritual journey that will be lifelong, you're constantly learning things and new challenges come your way, and you go through more challenges and you level up again and you just keep going. It's not working towards this point of, oh, I'm good now, I'm done.
Yeah.
It's getting to a point of, I really like this journey.
And I'm laughing because it's like just when you kind of get to a place in your life where it's nice and calm. And the universe is like, yeah, nah. Yeah, no. You're not done yet. I'm sorry. You're not done. Have this curveball.
I'm very big on the visualizations and visualizing what I want my life to look like. And for the longest time, I want to grow as a person, and I just kept getting things thrown at me where like I was growing and I was learning at an exponential level.
Did you get to a point you were like, just stop? Yeah. I don't want to grow anymore.
I did. I got to the point I was like, I'm going to take that down, and that got changed to I want a calm, peaceful life. I was like, just give me 5 seconds to just recoup myself.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us about the apparatuses that you guys have at Mind Body Lounge and how you've integrated those to help you.
I mean, absolutely amazing. I've been with the Mind Body Lounge for coming up close to a year now. Before that, I was working at another cryotherapy clinic. So I love cryotherapy, and that was something I actually started working there because I was a client. It helped my insomnia so much. I just absolutely loved it. And so, went from customer to manager in that space because I loved it so much. Now moving to the Mind Body Lounge, there's cryotherapy, there's red light therapy, there's low frequency therapy, infrared saunas, oxygen therapies, compression and lymphatic apparatuses. The combinations of what you can do is just absolutely incredible. Yeah. And these are machines that are, I mean, it's millions and millions of dollars in that lounge. Yeah.
But you know what I love about these is that they're actually natural machines, right?
Yes.
So they're these high-tech, advanced, because we're living in an age where we have the capacity to build these machines now, and we can essentially take things from the natural elements of the earth and compress them. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm trying to analyze it. But put them into a multi-million-dollar machine and make it the most amazing way to concentrate that on your body to get desired effects and results, right?
No, that's 100% right. And often people will come in and they'll say, how does this machine fix me, or how does it heal me?
Yeah.
And the answer is always, the machine doesn't heal you. The machine creates an environment within you that then your body heals itself.
Yeah.
It just goes back to that. Our bodies heal themselves. All we're doing is we are harnessing things from our natural environment.
Yeah.
And to be fair, things that don't necessarily exist anymore. You know, we have less oxygen in our atmosphere. We're not as connected with the magnetic pull of the earth. The sunlight and things that we're taking in, it's not what it was, thousands of years ago.
100%.
So we are using these machines, creating an environment in the body in which our body was originally designed to thrive.
Can you imagine what it must have been like living 10,000 years ago or something?
I mean,
I think they must have been like warriors, right? That's what I think about.
I always think that just with more oxygen, they just would have been very happy.
Yeah.
Because I know how I feel after I come out of oxygen therapies, and I'm just like, wow, I'm so happy.
Please apply your oxygen mask before helping others.
Exactly.
It's so true, right?
So I think that's really important to understand. It's that this is one element that you can use for your health journey.
Yeah.
It's not a fix-all for everything.
Yeah.
It's creating that environment in your body. And so many things do that. Nutrition, your emotional health, all those things create that environment in the body.
Yeah.
But we live in a very different world. We have very different challenges. So why not make use of this technology? Yeah. You already have more challenges.
Yeah.
And, as you said before, more stress. You've got emails binging at 11 o'clock at night and things like that. Mm-hmm. Why not utilise technology in another way to really help
enhance
your health?
And what's your favourite one? What's your favourite gadget?
My favourite apparatus?
Absolutely. What is your like go-to favourite one? I know it's hard
really
to pick,
hard.
right?
It's like picking between my children.
I know.
I love them all.
I mean, I love the whole body cryotherapy. I love that because I love the challenge of that as well. Because you step in there and you're like, okay, it's cold, but I've got this. And then you start jiggling and you're like, I'm just going to try and dance through this. And you then get to the last, for me, I get to the last 30 seconds and I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I'm challenged now. This is good. But you step out and it's like invigorating, right?
And you feel, you get that endorphin boost. And
oh my gosh. It's just, so it's like 3 minutes of your life and you just step out and you're like, far out, I feel so good. Yeah.
And it is with anything in your life as well. Like when you challenge and you push yourself, you do come out the other end.
Yeah.
And so much of our life is about creating that balance.
Yeah.
We have one apparatus, the exercise with oxygen therapy bike. So it's 93% pure oxygen that you're breathing in while you ride a stationary bike for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And the reason that exercise is important is because it's producing carbon dioxide.
Yeah.
And you need that balance
of
carbon dioxide to deliver the oxygen for where it needs to go.
Yeah.
So it's never about eliminating, one thing's bad, one thing's good.
Yeah.
Too much of anything. It's not
too
good for you.
Too much of any good stuff
Absolutely.
is not good for you.
Yeah.
At all.
But I would say my favourite is the PEMF mat, which is pulsed electromagnetic field therapy.
I have to admit that's my favourite too.
It's just so calming.
So calming, so calming. And you can feel it working, right?
Yeah.
Like this is the thing. Like I was like, what am I doing? I'm lying because we're going to talk about my stuff soon.
Yes.
But I'm all about me. But anyway.
Well, your stuff is very interesting.
It is interesting. And like laying on that mat, you're like, what is this going to do? But I remember feeling the tingling and the sensation of everything just recalibrating. I was like, oh, like I actually feel really good. Like I stood up and I was like, wow, I feel like it's like I had a full body like machine reboot.
Yep.
That's what it felt like for me. It's like someone has shut me down, rebooted me, and now I'm like running properly. That's how I felt. Like, I was like, oh, like all my electro feels like good.
Yeah, everything's buzzing and humming like it should. And I also love it because I have a bit of anxiety.
Yeah.
So I can get quite overwhelmed and a little bit stressed out, and that you can ideally, you do a 24-minute session like we do in the lounge, but even 8 minutes on the mat has been shown to drastically increase the flow of oxygen in your body, declump red blood cells, work at that cellular level. So it's very convenient.
They use it at NASA. Right? These are not just mats where you like lay on there. It's like woo woo. This is real, right? They use them for astronauts coming back to recalibrate back onto Earth at NASA.
Yeah. And even in space, they found that being away from that magnetic pull of the Earth really affected their bone density, muscle mass, things like that.
Yeah.
So we need that connection with the Earth.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely my favourite apparatus, and I think it's one of the most underrated apparatuses as well, because I don't think people truly comprehend how much our own well-being is tied in with the earth and the environment around us, but we truly need it.
You can't see it. That's the thing. You can't see the electromagnetic field, although it's existing right now. You've got one, I've got one, it's touching maybe, or maybe it's not, it's all bouncing around everywhere, right? But because we can't see it, people they don't know. They don't realize that it's there. But everything, it's all physics, it's all quantum, it's all everything about the earth. It has a natural sensation to actually keep it together as earth. Otherwise, everything would actually break apart if we didn't have this field. It would just dissolve into like little teeny tiny bits of ash, right? Because we need our fields. That's exactly what's going on. So it's probably one of the most important things to be looking after, because it's actually holding everything together in a sense of all of the energy output that it does and input and energy in and out that it does to keep us in one piece. Sometimes we're not in one piece, but or whatever.
But it's also it's used quite extensively in hospitals in Europe. Yeah. So fractures that won't heal after 3 to 6 weeks, they go on the PEMF mat. helps
Yeah.
heal those fractures. So they use it for osteo.
See, that's what I mean.
Arthritis,
It pulls it all back together.
pulls it all back
That's
together.
That's the whole point of it. You have to have the force or the field to actually keep. It's like you watch those movies and you see everything floating around in Earth, like outside in outer space, right? There's no field. There's no field to hold everything together, but you throw it back into Earth, it all clumps back together. And that's why they would use it for that. I'm trying to think of an analogy here, you know. I'm off on a tangent. But exactly, that's why it's used for healing and it speeds recovery, is because everything goes to that area to actually force it back into its correct position. So it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also, you know, you don't have to stand in a freezing cold freezer at minus 95 degrees. You don't have to get down to your underwear. You can just lie fully clothed on a mat and feel amazing.
It's pretty fun.
So that's another reason why it's a favourite.
Yeah. And so, like, what are some of the tips that you would give to listeners on if they're listening to this and they're looking for this resonates with them, where would they start? What would be your tips for them?
Well, I mean, putting aside coming into the lounge and speaking with us and talking specifically about what would help them.
Yeah.
My general advice for people in all aspects of their health is, one, get curious. We're often so very dismissive about new things, trying new things. If it doesn't work straight away, that doesn't work, or I feel a little bit weird doing this. This is not the norm.
Yeah.
So I would really encourage people to get curious and stay that way in terms of their health and just their journey in life in general.
Yeah.
Some things will work. You know, some things worked really well for me in my journey. Some things haven't.
Yeah.
But they've worked amazingly for other people. You know, again, we're all different. We're all going to respond differently. It's the same with a lot of the apparatuses in the lounge.
Yeah.
Some people just feel really strongly for one apparatus. But mostly I would say be very clear on your values, be very clear on the life that you want to have. Things will happen, things will change. You know, new technologies will come on board. You might not be using these things for the rest of your life. Something amazing might come along again. And I know one of the owners has got a trip planned to go look at amazing new things and machines that are out there that we might bring over. So
that's exciting.
There's when things are going to happen and things are going to change, and you know, kids, things like that, all this kind of stuff, life will happen.
Yeah.
But as long as you have a clear vision of your values and where you want to go in life and what you want that life to be, you will constantly make choices to achieve that. Yeah. And that's when I was really ill, and sort of at one of my lowest points, I read a quote and it just stuck with me, and it said, if you think wellness is expensive, try illness. Yeah. And I remember that stuck with me so much because obviously trying to get well, I was spending a lot of money on the supplements and everything else. It was very expensive. Yeah. But on the flip side of that, the illness had, taken my life from me, things that you just can't put a monetary value on. So constantly making choices to move towards where you want to be in life, I think is really, really important. Because when you do look at, you know, how much sessions at the lounge cost, or how much a gym membership costs, or a women's retreat, or whatever it may be that you're looking at, ultimately you can find other areas in your life where you're spending that money. Yeah. And it is about, do I choose this life or do I choose that life? Where am I going, and what's going to get me towards that vision at the end? So that's, I think, the overarching message that I feel is very important to impart with people. And because, like we were saying before, it's a journey. It's not, you know, your health isn't going to be fixed overnight if you've been making poor or different choices for a long period of time. So it's, a journey in health is really about recalibrating your life.
Yeah, and being kind to yourself if you fall off sometimes too. Yeah. Because it happens.
Yeah, Absolutely.
Yeah, without going into specifics, I mean, hello. Exhibit A right here. Like,
Exactly.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the stuff comes up in your life. Yes.
Totally.
Like, so, and you just have to sometimes jump off the path and go, right, this is something I got to deal with right now.
Yep.
But I know I'm coming back. And you know what to do. The thing is that it seems overwhelming when you first start because there's so much information, there's so much to navigate. But once you start getting into it, you then find the things that work for you. So you know that when you jump off the path and you get back on, you can go back to those things because you know that they're there for you and they work, and it's something that will get you back on track, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you don't know what you don't know, so you've got to put some effort in it in some degree to find out what works for you. And I think that's one of the things too, is that people trying to navigate and trying things, that don't necessarily work for them because they work for someone else and then they don't work for them and they get discouraged because why is this not working for me? Maybe it just doesn't work for you, and that's okay. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with that method. It just doesn't work for you. You have to find out what works for you.
Yeah.
And a lot of the stuff I do doesn't work for other people. Yeah. And that's totally fine. I dance around my lounge room doing aesthetic dancing half the time to release like stress. There's a lot of people that wouldn't do that, right? But that works for me. That's what works. And so when I'm feeling frustrated and angry, that's how I get my anger out. Yeah. So there's all sorts of different things, but you've got to actually lean into the uncomfortable and find out what works.
Exactly.
So speaking of which.
Yes.
Should we talk about the little experiment that we did? So I'm going to let you, explain that.
Okay, so we want to look at how apparatuses work for men and for women.
Yes.
I think that's a really big change that's coming through the wellness industry at the moment, is really accepting that men's hormonal cycles and women's hormonal cycles are completely different. It's obviously becoming very popular now to train in terms of your cycle and changing those exercises depending on where you are at your cycle and where your hormones are. So I was very excited when you agreed to be my guinea pig.
Yeah. You know me, I can't help it. I'm like, what is this? Yes, let's do that. Just test me. Test it all on me. Yes.
Yeah, you were very excited about it. I was like, we're going to take questionnaires every week and you're going to have to do this every week.
Let's just be really clear. Like, I decided very much voluntarily to step into all of these apparatuses, which a lot of people will go, why would you want to do that for? Because that sounds painful. That's really cold, or that's really hot, or what's going on? But I truly believe that a lot of these things that we did, well, actually all of them, because we're going to see the results, all made a change to my hormones.
Oh, I can 100% say that.
Exactly. In 1 month.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a 6-month thing. It was like 1 month we saw changes. It's phenomenal. Keep going. Sorry.
So looking at, using cryotherapy as an example, that's a fantastic apparatus with so many health benefits, but it does spike your cortisol when you go in there, and then the cortisol drops lower when you step out. I know for me, I cannot stand cryotherapy the week before and the week of my period.
Yeah.
I absolutely hate it. I don't get the same good feelings. It still does things for my health, and when I was using it to treat my insomnia, I was doing it every single week, and because it was benefiting that. But now that I don't have that issue anymore and I'm much more in tune with my cycle and my cycle is much healthier, that during those periods is just not for me.
Yeah. And I can understand that because it's, you said the last and the first week, right? Yeah. So that's when your progesterone's right up there. You can get quite agitated because your body is actually trying to calm. And so you're thrusting it into a space of aggravation and kind of discomfort. And so I think mentally it's no, I can't actually do that right now. I actually need things that are going to calm and prepare me to release.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, sorry.
So when obviously being in tune with your cycle as well, it was really helpful because you could just basically give me a play-by-play of what happens every single week.
Dear Lauren, day 24.
I love it. I got that big email from you with every single, not even to the week, but to the day.
I know,
it
right?
was,
This
5
happens.
days.
This
8
happens.
days.
I know.
Yep.
I know.
So
But that's taken years to put together. Yeah.
it was impressive. I'm saying I was impressed.
Thank you.
But it made my job so much easier because we were obviously taking qualitative data as to how you felt. So using pretty standard measurements of PMS and the things that women experience through their cycle, we used that as a baseline or what we were expecting to see throughout your cycle. And when I say that, I mean things like pain, bloating, constipation, headaches, crying. I was a little concerned about how much crying you put. So many different areas.
It was pretty hectic. That list of stuff was pretty
it
was pretty good. It wasn't just a couple. It was like 3 pages of stuff that you had there, like mental health, physical stuff, digestion, a whole range of things that were on there, which was
and
really
it
good.
just goes to show how much as women we deal with on a monthly basis of these changes with the hormones in our body and how much discomfort and pain we sometimes just accept as that's my cycle, that's normal, that's how it should be.
Yeah.
So we took that and then obviously based on how you feel throughout your cycle and the hormone changes, I created a protocol for you. And the protocol was really shaped around kind of feeding your body, if you will, in those first 2 weeks, because those last 2 weeks of your cycle or that last phase of your cycle seemed to be the most problematic for you. That's where you had most of your issues coming from. So starting off, you were doing the AirPod, which is a hyperbaric chamber, pressurized oxygen. The pressure in the tank, raises the level of oxygen to 31%. The pressure is what you would feel being, say, 3 meters below sea level, and that pressure helps to push that oxygen deep within the body. So where you might have oxygen-starved tissues, it's going to help push that for you. It also has hydrogen, which is amazing for oxidative stress. So you were doing the hyperbaric chamber, you had your brain tap in there.
Yes, they were really good.
That.
Yep.
So
it was an interesting sensation being in the chamber. Mm-hmm. It just takes you a little second to get used to the pressurization, but once you're in there, it's really relaxing. Like I would have had a nap.
Yeah.
Like, I think I did actually have a nap at one point. Knock, 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 time to get out. Yeah, so it was good. It was not scary at all. I think like you are in this chamber thing, but once you get in there, it really just relaxes and grounds you. I actually found it really grounding.
Yep.
That's what I found in that experience. So anyway,
So that is a really fantastic oxygen therapy for rehabilitation and recovery. And it's been around for a significant period of time. So there is a lot of information out there as to what it helps with. And we're getting more and more information as to all the amazing effects that it can have on neurological issues and brain damage and PTSD and things like that as well now. So we started you off on that. Then we were followed by the cryotherapy. And obviously in the AirPod you were doing your brain tap. So we wanted to get your mental state right. We wanted to reduce oxidative stress in the body, and we wanted to get your blood flow going. The cryotherapy is also fantastic for your digestion as well. So those were some big areas for you initially. Was around the fluid. We had fluid retention. We had some constipation. Bloating and a bit of pain. And they were given the scale, they were quite moderate.
Yeah, they were moderate.
So fluid retention, bloating, and the pain moderate. Some mild constipation. So that's what we were looking to address there. When we came into your ovulation phase and you've got that high energy, that's when we did the superhuman protocol. Because that's just an incredibly invigorating protocol to do. It's you start off with the penth mat, you move on to the EWOT exercise with oxygen therapy, and then you finish with the Theralite.
I love the Theralite.
It's like sunshine. Well, it is like sunshine.
It is sunshine. It's like, oh, it's so good. I didn't want to get out.
It's taking all those fantastic wavelengths that we should be getting from the sun, that our body is using from the sun to regulate so many of our processes, without any of the damaging effects.
Yeah, it's the best. I actually think it's my favourite.
Is it?
I think I fell asleep in there every time. It would turn off and I'd be like, but I don't want to hop out.
You don't want to get out.
It was so relaxing and you really felt energized. I mean, mitochondrial health, right? This is exactly what it comes down to. Like my little mitochondria were like, oh no, please don't go away because I'm getting lots of energy right now.
Yeah.
It was just beautiful. That was my favorite, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the Superhuman protocol is something that you can come to the lounge and just do purchase as a protocol in its own right. It takes about an hour to do, and while it has all these health benefits, I really like to think about it as getting back to nature.
Yeah.
You're getting back, you're attuned with the magnetic forces of the earth with the PEMF mat. You're getting those elevated oxygen levels from doing the EWAT, and then you're getting all the amazing wavelengths from the sun, all in this concentrated dose within an hour.
Yeah.
It's creating that environment in your body for performance and, getting...
Yeah. It is.
It's
Yeah. Because that's like that time of the month, like that pre-ovulation and just after ovulation, that's when we're most energized because we're trying to conceive, right? Body's shaped for that. So it's got more energy. The estrogen's really high, so that's the time of the month where you do, and you're more receptive. So you're quite receptive. So everything that's coming inward into the body is going to be nurtured quite well from a female's perspective. So that's the time to do that protocol. Yeah.
So we were building you up in those first 2 phases and really energizing your body, and then with the hopes that we're now going to manage those symptoms in the 2 weeks, but we've also done a lot in the first 2 to ease those symptoms as well.
Yeah.
So then moving past ovulation, you spoke to me about immune health, having, the odd breakout around week 3. So we were back in the Theralite 3 times a week. Because when you are just using the Theralite as a device on its own, you really want to be doing it a minimum 3 times per week.
Yeah.
And then, so we were doing the immune setting because of the different wavelengths and settings on the Theralite. There are so many different programs you can do. You can do energy, immunity, performance, pain, soft tissue injury, bone injury, anti-aging, longevity, so many things, weight loss, so many. So you're in the Theralite doing immunity for that week to keep your immune system nice and strong. And then you would follow that with a cryotherapy facial to then help with any breakouts.
Yeah.
And again, a really relaxing treatment because you're in that final phase.
Yeah.
And so you want to be doing nice things for your body, gentle treatments for your body. And a cryotherapy facial is very, very different to a whole body cryotherapy.
Oh, it's so relaxing.
Yep.
It's so relaxing. Yeah.
You wouldn't think having liquid nitrogen as this vapor at minus 150 degrees blasted at your face would be relaxing, but it's surprising.
It's surprisingly relaxing. Yeah. It's awesome.
So we had that, and then the final phase, you wanted to look at reducing any weight gain and bloating, and again, really soothing, really calming as we're coming into your period again. So in that phase, we moved on to the PEMF, and we were using that as a way to ground and calm you, also priming the body so you're getting a lot of benefit before you then moved on to the infrared sauna.
Yeah.
The infrared saunas at the lounge use near, mid and far infrared. So they are a little bit similar to a Theralite where we have some programs that we can do for you. So we can give you a specific relaxation program. We can give you a specific weight loss program. And they're far more comfortable because the wavelengths are doing giving the body a lot of benefit.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be as hot. So you're not having to stress your body as much. You're still getting a nice sweat, but you're focusing in on different areas.
It was so relaxing.
Yeah.
This is so relaxing. So nice. And it's perfect for that time of that month.
Yep.
Because between days 21 and 24, it's very common for the majority of women to struggle mentally and physically because of the changes in hormones. And that's the time when a lot of people go, what's wrong with me? I don't understand why my energy's dropped and I can't perform the way that I normally am, and I feel really cranky and I'm a bit irritable. So like you just said, that grounding and calming effect that the mat has and just recentering yourself and just bringing that all down was really beneficial. And then taking that into a sauna and experiencing that detox and that release, right? Because we've been receptive and now we're starting to move towards that release. Like physically, it was perfect. It was perfect. Yeah. I loved it.
Good. You did seem to enjoy yourself.
I did enjoy myself. And you know what? The thing about these things is that you are in them for a while. So you are naturally, it's your time. Mm-hmm. They're not fast things, apart from the cryotherapy, which is 3 minutes, right? Yep. I think mostly for most people, but a lot of the other ones are for a longer period of time. So when you're committing to yourself to be in these spaces, that's your time.
Yep.
So you naturally go in and you might be agitated and hyped up when you get there, but you've allowed that time for yourself. And so by the time you go through these things and you leave, you are more relaxed, you're more grounded, you're more calm, you're more recentered because you've given that time to yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's what I enjoyed about that as well, is that, you know, you have to put your phone away.
Yep.
You can't take your stuff in anything because it affects everything. So you have to put it away. So you just have to sit with yourself. And it's perfect.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. No, it is true. And there's so many people that come to the lounge with no real health issues, but it is their time.
Yeah.
And they make that time each week and they read their book or they, you know, sleep in the AirPod or do whatever they need to do.
Yeah.
And it's their time. And that's really, really important to make that time. I mean, we also have a lot of couples that meet there after work.
Yeah.
In the evening and they do a cryo and then they go jump in the sauna or they have that time together.
Yeah.
And it's really important and you see how much they enjoy it and how how lovely they all are. So it's do wonders for their relationship.
Totally. Yeah. And it's nice to just dedicate that time because the world can wait.
Yeah.
There's nothing that needs to be done. You can give yourself 1 hour.
Absolutely.
Honestly.
1 hour once a week.
For wellness, right? We're all about prevention of illness.
Yep.
Right? So 1 hour.
Absolutely.
It's not a lot of time.
And I mean, it is really interesting. We obviously keep on top of a lot of data that comes out from the health department as to what are the biggest burdens in WA in terms of health.
Yeah.
And it's really concerning to see that heart disease and diabetes and mental health issues and suicide, that these are real burdens, you know, multi-million-dollar per year burdens on our health system.
Yeah.
And there's really, you know, there's no quick fix for these things.
Yeah.
They're lifestyle and they require work. And so where the lounge is headed in the future is really looking to position itself as a important part of people's health. If you don't want to end up in that system, you do need to start looking for alternatives and taking that responsibility, you know, as soon as you can. It's never too late, but as soon as you can.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to we digress.
That's all right. My results.
Your results.
Yes.
So, as I said, we used a qualitative questionnaire and you rated things as either mild, moderate or extreme. Thankfully, you didn't have anything that was extreme.
Yeah, and look, I think that I might actually be a bit of an outlier there only because I work on myself a lot. Yeah. So I already have a lot of things, but had this had happened maybe 10 years ago, I would have had things in the extreme. 100%.
But this is one of the reasons why I wanted you to do it was because you are so on top of these things.
This is true.
And I was so fascinated to see that what kind of benefits you would get being someone who is on top of their diet. And because we have people who are going through cancer treatments, or people like myself who have had major health issues. And so you see these big changes in people, really, really big changes in people. So it's really interesting to see if someone is in a good level of health, how these things can elevate you even more to the next level, which is fantastic. So in what we were expecting in that first phase, we were looking at fluid retention, abdominal bloating, constipation and pain, all zero. What you experienced in week 2, all gone. So you had absolutely no symptoms in the week 2 data.
Yep.
And you actually had no symptoms in the week 4 data.
I know.
Either.
That's a huge thing for me.
Nothing.
Huge.
And you went from having, in week 4, you had mild anxiety, irritability, mood swings, nervous tension, appetite increase, headache, fatigue, palpitations, crying, insomnia, fluid retention, swollen extremities, breast tenderness, and abdominal bloating.
Yeah.
All mild, but gone.
But gone. That's a lot.
That's
stuff.
a lot.
I'm like, hang on a second. Yeah, I've got none of that stuff right now. Wow.
Yeah. Like
amazing.
to not feel crappy the week before your period.
How good's that?
That is.
That's a huge win, right?
That's just unheard of.
Yeah.
So that was fantastic. Week 3 was the big one.
Yeah.
That was the one we were looking at because you had moderate anxiety, moderate irritability, mood swings, nervous tension, appetite increase, headache, and fatigue. And then you had mild palpitations, mild crying, mild insomnia, mild swollen extremities, mild breast tenderness, mild bloating, mild constipation.
Yeah.
Half of those gone.
Yeah.
So,
and that's my problem week.
Yep.
So to have that, it's amazing for me.
Yep.
Amazing.
So everything that was mild, gone. We didn't experience that anymore.
Yeah.
Everything that was moderate, so your anxiety, irritability, mood swings, all halved by 50%, so down to mild.
Yeah. Yeah. And I reckon had I've come back the next month, but I had stuff come up, that would have gone down to 0 too.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Like we could probably experiment on that again. But I'm just saying it would have. Because this is the thing, it's consistency. That was just only 1 month.
Yeah.
1 month.
Exactly. So we definitely hit it pretty hard.
We did.
For that month. You were doing 2 to 3 sessions per week and, the AirPods an hour a session. So some of those sessions were quite long. But I think that speaks to how quickly things worked. Generally, when people do come to the lounge and we set them a protocol, we like to really go very heavy in the first month because it gives us a great indication of how well things are working. Yeah. Then we can taper off. Yeah. If you can't dedicate that level of time consistently, but you can give us a month and then we can go down to weekly sessions, that's great. Yeah. You've at least done a bit of a reset for your body and then we can work into something that's a bit more manageable. Yeah. Because, I work there. I'm there every single day. And there are days. There are days where, I don't have time to do any treatments, I've still got to get the kids from school and go home and do all that kind of stuff. So there's, everyone there understands the realities of life and how that is. But certainly to go hard in that first month, it just goes to show, and your results show, how well this can work.
Yeah, and it shows you how quickly the body responds.
Absolutely.
Because you actually hit it hard and you go, the body is actually responding.
Yeah.
It's responding to this. So we do this really hard and then we can taper it down a little bit. But then if something goes, hang on a second, that's not quite working, we go back up a little bit in some areas where you taper some stuff down. I know you guys, you've been doing this for so long now. You have so many people come and you've got these protocols for all your clients and you must see everything.
Oh, we had fantastic results with Kelly. She plays for the West Coast Eagles. She had her ACL done. Yeah. Her surgeon was shocked. We put her on a protocol, I think 2 weeks post-surgery. And, at week 5, her surgeon said, you were where I would expect to see you week 9.
Wow.
Your recovery has just moved forward so quickly. And what was really rewarding in that process with Kelly was to see her mental health.
Yeah.
Being a sports person of such a high caliber and being an athlete all her life, not having that freedom of movement and not being able to achieve the results that she wanted to see was really difficult for her. So even, just doing the brain taps while she was getting her treatment done, it was really great to see her mental health pick up.
Yeah.
And to see how happy she was week after week, and for her to see the improvement week after week as well.
Yeah.
So there's so many fantastic things. People who've, learning to walk again, who use the apparatuses and now they're swimming, every day. And it's amazing what the body can do. And so it's amazing to be part of that with people and see their quality of life come back.
And you guys have some upcoming events, right?
Yes. So in the future we'll be doing a lot more because they are incredibly popular.
Yeah.
But we have an upcoming women's retreat on the 26th of March, which is a partnership with Happiness Co. Happiness Co. leads the women's circle and they do a lot around mental and emotional health. And then you get to finish with sessions in the lounge.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
you come in and get your cryo and your brain tap and do breath work. We have a beautiful immersive studio at the back with guided breath work sessions. So they're fantastic retreats. I think this one is almost sold out.
Okay.
So 26th of March there'll be the women's retreat, but there'll definitely be a lot more workshops for everyone coming up. And then obviously because you are so special to us.
I'm special.
You're a special guinea pig. You obviously have your code to share.
Yes, my little special code here, Tracy25. So if you check that out and you use the code Tracy25 when you're joining these events or wanting to do a full price treatment, am I right in saying the retreat as well, or is it just the treatment? Not the retreat. I'm backpedaling right now. Beep, backpedal in the full price of any treatments at Mind Body Lounge. So just use that code and you'll get 25% off, which is amazing.
Yes,
that's huge. So I appreciate that for all my listeners. Like, go out there and try it. Like, this is the thing, right? Take the discount and apply the code and give it a shot.
Exactly.
I guarantee you're going to love it. And you're going to get hooked because it's so addictive.
That's right. There's no one that works out. I mean, we're a very sort of quietly confident bunch in there. Yeah. Even when people are a little bit dubious about what we do, because once you've tried it, you feel fantastic.
That's it. I know. It's an addiction then. And so you guys open 7 days a week. No, except Sunday. Sorry, 7 to 7, Monday to Friday, and 7 to 2 on Saturdays. And if you're interested in emailing Vic Park, VICPARK, at mindbodylounge.com.au. And of course, we've got Instagram and Facebook. So, I mean, who doesn't have that? So you can always check it out there and check out some of the photos and see some of the people that are going in and what they're doing and what it's all about. And, touch base with Lauren and call her. I know you put your phone number there, but I don't know if I want to.
That's the phone number to the lounge. Okay, so that's not my personal phone number.
That's all right there.
But we also do free consultations for people. So if you are unsure and you just want to book a free consult and get some one-on-one time with the team in the lounge, who all have their own amazing story and health journey that they've been through and wealth of knowledge in their own rights. Just book a consultation and take 15 minutes to walk around the lounge and possibly do a session there or then. And absolutely.
Nothing to lose, people. Nothing.
No.
It's information. Just go check it out. And I promise you're going to love it. I loved my whole experience and I can't wait to go back again. And I'm sure that's going to be up on Insta again very soon, so you can look at it there. But anyway, have we covered everything? Is there anything you want to finally add for our listeners before we wrap up?
No, I think that's everything. I think it's I can't think of anything else that we haven't covered.
I'm so glad that you came in today to have a chat. And I love the work that you're doing. So, I'm a huge advocate for you guys. I've experienced it myself and I love it. And I love what you're doing for preventative health. It's so important. And the more that we get this information out to people, the better it is holistically for everybody. moving forward. So
I just say we are very lucky to have this in Perth. I don't think a centre like this even exists anywhere else in Australia. Like this is the amount of machines in there. It's incredible. It blew my mind when I first saw it. Absolutely blew my mind.
So you've got to take advantage of this stuff. Let's not send everyone because we might not get our But anyway, thank you so much for joining me, and I'm sure we're going to have you back again sometime soon. I'm sure we've got other stuff we can talk about. And if you've enjoyed today's chat, please make sure that you refer it to family and friends. And if you've loved it, please leave a 5-star rating because it's free, people. It's a free information, and we want to get it out there as much as possible. So until next time, see you later.
The information, views and opinions expressed on this podcast should not be used or treated as a substitute for nutritional, medical, psychological or other advice by a qualified medical health professional. Hosts and guests on the podcast express their own opinions, experiences and conclusions. And nothing on the podcast should be used to diagnose, treat, cure or prevent any medical conditions. The podcast is not intended to replace any medical or mental health treatment. All information and advice provided is for general well-being and does not take individual cases into consideration. Neither Tracy Saltis, guests on the podcast, or any sponsors endorse the opinions, views or conclusions expressed or shared on the podcast. Tracy Saltis takes no responsibility for any symptoms or consequences as a direct or indirect result of this podcast.